payday, and this payday I took home $16,152.34. Every single time I get paid, I like to take my paycheck, stick it into the software that you see on screen, and give every single dollar a job. Out of this paycheck, I did not have any automatic investments come out. I have hit pause on retirement contributions, and you can click back a few videos to see why that is. My partner also contributed $920, and that is their normal contribution for each payday. So our total to budget today is $17,072.34. The reason why my take-home pay was so large this time is that I had a little RSU vest in addition to my normal paycheck. So what I'm going to do first is actually just set aside the amount of that RSU vest, which was $11,225. And then with the rest of this money, I'm going to go ahead and budget it out with like the normal things that we do. So typically, if you're not new here, you'll typically see me assign to my fixed costs, my saving goals, and guilt-free spending. And I like to be a month ahead, which means that I like to take my paychecks that I earn in the current month, so that would be August, and apply that or set it aside for the next month, which is September. And so we started doing a little bit of that last time. But first, what I want to do, I want to do a couple things. So we have some overspending that we need to cover. I think what I'm going to do first actually is go to September and start funding the rest of my fixed costs and some of the other goals that we have. Last time we started funding some of the home category. We're going to go ahead and fund rent. So we have that ready on the 1st, and that is $3,475. Also for household goods, we typically spend around $800 a month. So I'll set that aside now. Then we have groceries. I'm estimating we'll need about $300 for groceries going forward. We made some adjustments to our meal kits because we found we weren't really eating the meals from one of the companies as much. And I cooked for like the first time in a while last weekend, which was fun. I did a little meal prep. So we'll put that at $300 and see how we do. And then $100 for my partner. They've been going into the office less, so I think we can reduce that amount. Previously it was $200. Okay, then planes, trains, and automobiles. This is my transportation category. The first thing to fund there is my car payment, which is $600 a month. Auto insurance, I set aside basically a small chunk per month. So that way when the bill comes around every 6 months, I already have that money set aside and ready to go. So I set aside $229 there. For taxes, registration, and fees, I'll set aside $67. For car cleaning and maintenance, I'll set aside $20. And for a seasonal tire swap, probably will schedule that for sometime in November. I like to set aside $16 so I have money there when I need to put my winter tires on. All right, and then charging gets $80 for the month. Next, we have personal care, which is just my category for any skincare or hair care products. That gets $150. And then we only have $10.34 left and ready to assign. So what I'm going to do actually is go back into August and into my savings goals. So for the holidays, I think I made an adjustment back in the last video to get back on track here, but I made a target of $3,500 to have set aside by December each year. And that was based on total holiday spending for last year, which included gifts, for family and friends. It included holiday activities and events. It included decor. It included getting a new artificial Christmas tree. I think probably $3,500 is an overestimation for what we would spend, especially now going forward, since some things were a one-time cost. We're not going to buy a new artificial tree or anything like that. So I think we can probably reduce this. I'm going to see if I can make this work with a target of maybe $1,500 for the year instead. I think I will move this to ready to assign and then do a quick calculation. If the total is, I just want to make sure this is right, $1,500, and we divide that by 12, that's $125 a month. This is the 8th month, so that we should have $1,000 here, I think. Nope, that's $100. We should have $1,000. Let's try that again. Okay. And then I also made a purchase already for $170.17. So I'm going to subtract that as well. And then if I flip over, yes. Okay. $125 is what we need going forward. So that's fine. That will be the new target, and I'll snooze that for this month. And then I will go back into September fixed costs and continue assigning for next month. So Netflix is $27 a month. Premium connectivity is $11 a month. Prime Video is $4. Paramount Plus is $14. Apple Music gets $13. Chani, which is my astrology app, that gets $14. Cloud storage gets $10. YNAB gets $9. Our Chase Sapphire gets $8. Blue Cash gets $7. Prime gets $12. Our Costco membership gets $5. Amex Platinum gets $123. And Amex Gold gets $28. And New York Times, they raised the price on me. So with my Amex Platinum, I think I'm reimbursed up to $20 a month for media subscriptions. And prior, I don't know what kind of deal I signed up for with New York Times All Access, but like prior, it fully covered the amount. And for some reason now, I think they've like upped the price a little bit. So I need $6 there. Okay. Now we'll flip over to savings goals, and I like to set aside $120 for my out-of-pocket medical costs. So for any upcoming appointments, any supplies like contacts, I just want to have some money set aside there. And it's zeroed out because last month I ended up having to get contacts. I want to build this up in the months where I don't have any appointments or anything going on so that I have that buffer. Okay, holidays now gets $125. Gifts for others gets $40. Mutual aid gets $10. And we'll come back to this rainy day readiness in a second. Moving to guilt-free spending, the total across all these categories is $1,100. And right now we have $754. So we'll fund a couple of these. So I'll fund coffee for sure. I'm estimating that we'll need like $50 for pods. Yeah, I don't know. We just got an espresso machine, so I'm new into this world of making my coffee at home, but I'm estimating we'll probably spend somewhere around $50 on pods. And then guilt-free spending, I kind of don't want to give myself guilt-free spending this month because I've really gone not overboard, but I definitely haven't stuck to what I aimed to spend for this. So I'm trying to think if I have anything that I anticipate needing to buy in September. Okay, I'll just set it aside for now and then I'll think about it a little bit more later. We have $554.85, so I'll just fill this up right now with that remaining, and then we need $345.15 more. Okay, so now if we look at September, we're still underfunded. I think that has to do with some of the overspending in August. Actually, I'm curious. Yeah, some of the overspending in August. Also, oops, apparently I forgot about debt payments, so I'll cover those. Actually, let me just move this. I'll move $300 to my tax payment. Where is that? Okay. And then student loans, I didn't set any money aside for that. And then we need about $700 more for restaurants. Okay. Cool. Let me flip back to August. And let me pop this up to ready to assign. There are a couple different jobs that I want this money to do. The first is that I want to set aside money for my student loans for the next 2 months. So that would be for September and October. I'm on the save plan, and right now we don't have any required payments, but interest has started to accrue. Because of the size of my loans, my interest accrual per month is somewhere around like $1,100, maybe $1,200. So I want to actually make sure I fully cover the interest that's accruing, as well as pay off, a little bit toward the principal and chip away at that on a regular basis. That's my strategy for now. I do actually have an appointment coming up next month with a financial advisor who specifically focuses on student loans to see if that's like the best strategy and to talk through some different options. So I can definitely update you guys once I have more of a plan there. Okay, and the next thing I want to do is make sure that I am staying a month ahead. As we just saw in September, it looks like we're still underfunded. Again, some of this is going to be from the overspending in August, which we'll cover in a second. But we know that for guilt-free spending, we need to finish funding this target. And so that needs $645.15. And now we are fully funded for guilt-free spending, fully funded for savings goals for September, and also fully funded for all the fixed costs. In order to like make sure we're truly a month ahead, I am going to cover this overspending from Ready to Assign. So restaurants, I will cover that. Coffee, I will also cover. This month ended up being a little bit more expensive because we started the month buying coffee out at Starbucks like pretty much daily, like we've been doing. And then halfway through the month, we ended up buying an espresso machine and like all the startup costs for that. So I definitely expect that cost per month to go down over time, but that's where we are right now. And then let me see. Okay, I want to, before I cover this overspending, I want to go back to my rainy day readiness or my emergency funds. I had been pulling some money out, which I know is not like the best, but I had been pulling some money out to cover some spending. Like I said, I bought contacts this month and I don't know, just a few. I had some overspending, obviously. So I had pulled money out of my unpleasant surprise category, which really truly should be for something that is unexpected, a surprise scenario where I do need to spend the money. I'm going to just zero that out so that way that is back up to the $2,000, just in case I need it. You never know. And then I also would like to set aside some money toward my 3 months of expense targets, which we are so far behind on. Honestly, this year, if I can get like a little bit over 1 month here, I will be very happy. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I think I'll add 2,500 there. Cool. And then if I go to overspending, my parents are coming to visit soon this weekend, and I booked some different activities for us to do, and we're going to take a little road trip around. I need to cover this spending, and I planned to just set aside this remaining amount just for trips, and instead of going to the generic trips category, this is going to go specifically to funding this little mini adventure. So I'll just set aside the rest of this here, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.